Hi, good day. Welcome to Subramani. If you like my videos, please subscribe. I don't say that every time, but today I think I should be crossing 25,000, or by the time I post this, I must have crossed 25,000 subscribers. Feels good. That's all I think. So please subscribe. Make it 50,000. Make it 5 lakhs, whatever. So there are some important lessons that I've learned on my journey to becoming an investor, and that is very different from what people think. So I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments saying, oh, you can say this but we can't do this kind of stuff. So some of the lessons which you need to know about when you become a full-time investor or you decide to retire. So first thing is money gives you a lot of power because it gives you a lot of choice. I keep saying this, but financial freedom actually for me has meant I can choose with whom to work, with whom not to work, how much to work, in which field to work, how much to charge, whether to do free work, how many vacations to take, everything. All that gives me a choice, because how I run my household expenses is from my dividend income. Right, I can live my life, including my vacations, everything, just with my dividend income. That is what gives me freedom, not the YouTube channel ads. I don't make more than $10 a day doing ads. That's not enough. That's enough perhaps to pay my electricity bill, and that's about all, or maybe my electricity bill and my telephone bill. That's about all. But I don't think it will cover my electricity bill, telephone bill, and my society charges. It doesn't cover all that. But yes, it's good fun doing it, because I have fun talking to you, getting feedback, saying whether you like it, don't like it, etc., etc. So it's always nice to have feedback. So first is, money gives you power, not consumption, because a lot of people keep asking me, what is the point in being financially free if you want to lead a simple life, or something like to that effect. I mean, why are you not driving a Ferrari if you can afford a Ferrari? You don't need to run a Ferrari, right? I mean, you have a choice. This is like a story which I keep repeating. I took somebody to meet an industrialist. So an industrialist house, the food is laid down on the table like a 5-star hotel, right? These are 3 brothers staying together, very, very well off industrialists. I had to meet the eldest brother. So I had gone in the morning. So obviously a servant comes, opens the door, and the lady of the house nicely, graciously walks in and says, can I offer you some tea or coffee? And so will join you for breakfast and all that. So when the person came down for breakfast, we were at the table and he had to leave in a hurry. So he said, I will, you please continue your breakfast. I will have a quick breakfast and come, and then my younger brother will come and meet you and talk to you about this. So that was fine, and there was a huge variety, not like a 5-star hotel, but like a 4-star at least. There were fruits, there was fruit juice, then there was North Indian, South Indian, idli, poha, paratha, 3-4 items were all there. And that man came, he had a juice and he had maybe one toast, and he left. And the guy who came with me just couldn't understand that how a person could have such a light breakfast when such a huge array of breakfast is available. So he obviously had a little more than what I had, and I also had a good breakfast. So the choice is there. Yes, you are an industrialist, you have a lot of money, you can have a sumptuous breakfast, you can have bread, you can have omelette, you can have paratha, you can have poha, you can have upma, you can have idli. Yes, the choice is there. It does not mean you will eat everything, because I have found that whether it is dealing with food or dealing with money, simplicity is what helps. So for me, when I go into a Udupi hotel, it's one rava masala dosa. Absolutely brainlessly, I can order that, eat it, and then I don't have to worry because I can't eat more than one item. So that's it, end of life. So simplicity. Money is about being simple. It is not about saying, oh, now I can consume more, so I will consume more. No, by the time you realize that consumption is not giving you pleasure. Yes, you have money in the bank. Yes, you can do simple things. You can do simple things more. You can take more breaks. Whatever you enjoy, you can do. You can maybe, I know a friend who took all his parents, uncle, aunt, everybody, put them in a bus and took them on a pilgrimage. He paid for the whole thing, did not expect them to pay, put them up in decent hotels. right? He incurred those expenses, so that is what gave him pleasure. He could have used that money and bought a new car or upgraded his car, but this gives him more pleasure, so he did that. So I think my understanding that money is about fun and money is about power to do what you want to do rather than what you must do. That is what money does, and you have to be simple to be financially free. If you're very gadget crazy or travel crazy, expensive travel crazy, luxury travel crazy, then your ability to estimate how much you need itself takes a hit. So be careful about even your estimating, because the estimation may be completely wrong. So I don't think more money is so much about buying things and consuming and luxury items than about freedom of choosing how to work, how much to work, what kind of work to do, whether to start a new business, whether to fund your children starting a new business, whether to fund a friend starting a new business. All those options are available. Doesn't mean you will exercise all of them. You may not want to fund a new business unless you're very confident of that person, right? So just how do you achieve that? So first step is, what is financial freedom, or how does financial freedom look? It is very simple. You have to learn the art of saving. Saving is an art. It is not, everybody does not get it. So you earn $100 and you save $50 or $40 or $30 or $1. It is up to you. Remember an old Hindi song, Amdani Attani Kharcha Rupaya, right? That can't happen. You can't earn 50 paise and spend 100, right? So ability to save is the first and most important thing. Whatever you earn, you should be able to save something. Obviously, if you're very privileged living with your parents and you don't need the money, you can save 100% of what you're earning. But if you're supporting your parents, etc., you should still be able to save about 30%. If you can save nothing, it still means you have to save 10 to 15%, because if you can't save even that much, it means you're living beyond your means. Please reduce the means. You have no choice, because if you can't save even that much, one day when you're not well, one day when you are retired, one day when you need expenses for something else, you will just not know where to look at. So you must save 10 to 15% even at the beginning of your career. When some boys and girls who are from privileged backgrounds may be able to save 100%, right? So it's your choice how much, but you have to save. After you save, you need to invest that. Just saving alone is not enough. Living frugally is nice, but living frugally will not make you rich. You have to invest sensibly, right? So, and also you have to understand that whatever you see on YouTube videos, etc., whatever people tell you, there are no overnight success stories happening in the world of investment. It just doesn't happen. So anybody tells you that they're just bluffing or they're plain lucky, something happened to them and they got lucky and they made money, that is not the route that you can afford to take, right? The skill is in being able to convert small amounts of money which you are earning on a regular basis, invest it regularly and convert that into a big amount of money. You can start with only 500 rupees a month, that's great, start. You can start 1000 rupees a month, fantastic. You can do 1 lakh a month, fantastic, super fantastic, absolutely no doubt. The bigger the amount, the greater the success story, but 500 is not to be ignored. Understand the power of small numbers. Every small number, every bit adds up. So do an SIP of 500 rupees per month if that is what you can afford, and end of every month or in the middle of the month, if you see that you have a surplus, you can put more into that, right? I'm assuming that you are a very raw beginner and this is what you're looking at. That's a fantastic way to start. Don't worry, don't crib about worrying about big amounts of money and all that. पैसा आएगा, जब पैसा आएगा तब पैसा बनेगा. Whenever you get the money, you will make more. There is no doubt. But continue your SIP and whenever you can, you put money into it. So very simple thing. Start early, put as much as you can. Don't touch it for as long as possible. And this is all. So start early, believe in compounding and don't interrupt the compounding. That will create wealth for you. Have a simple lifestyle. Again, like I said, money is more about having independence than anything else. So understand that that is what money does. If you are going to be a full-time investor, then you need to understand that you need some other activity. Maybe it is watching movies, maybe it is going on hikes, maybe it is going on vacation. Because if an idle mind is a devil's workshop, so you will sit and fidget and say, oh God, market fell down 3%, small cap fell, mid cap didn't fall. Should I sell mid cap and buy more small cap? Should I sell large cap? Anyway, large cap is not going anywhere. So, your mind will unnecessarily do all these agitative things and force you into some action, because that is what you think. There is this action bias. You feel that you have done something, right? It may be completely useless, but you feel that you have done something. It's like, if you're expecting your son or daughter or parent who's gone out to come back, you don't want to sit at home, so you will go to the nearest bus depot. Assuming us zamane ki baat when people travel by bus. Nowadays people don't travel by bus, they travel by auto, Ola, Uber, things like that. So whatever, so you will go down to your building, pace up and down, wait for that person, and when that person comes, you will be relieved, and you will first perhaps say, oh thank God I'm relieved, or shout saying, couldn't you have told me, that kind of a thing, because you feel you did something. You were pacing up and down. It was not helping, but you were pacing up and down. Similarly, in investing, you will want to do something. That action bias is there. Be careful subjecting yourself to action bias. Read a lot, because reading will also make you calmer, and a calm person can be a better investor than a person who is very agitated. So don't be very agitated. So if you want to be a good investment professional, there is no escaping reading. And for reading, I would prefer that you go to books to read, because there is no interruption. If you're reading online, make sure that you have switched off all the notifications. Otherwise, one Facebook notification, Twitter notification, something will come and disturb you. You will go there, and there is now research to prove it takes 27 minutes to come back. So you will be watching some YouTube videos, some short videos, something, and it's addicting. Right? So if I want to make sure that my recording is uninterrupted and my recording starts on time, it is very important that I respect time. And so similarly, as an investor, if you don't respect time, you will lose very badly. So make sure that you have some activity other than investing, so that, because investing is not a full-time activity. Yes, research is a full-time activity. If you are going to do direct equity investing and you're going to read about companies, read about balance sheets and all that, then yes, there is a lot of work. But if you're going to put money in an index fund, honestly, there is no great amount of work. So decide on what you want to do. Based on that, you could do any of these things, but remember, unless you do all these things, you can't be a successful investor. Thank you.